Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod with Dr. John Connelly with us today. He's the founder at Rapid Resolution Therapy. Excited to dive in deep that topic, hypnosis, personal growth, therapy, everything between. This pod is brought to you by my podcasting company. If you want to start your own podcast, go to podwire.com. Dr. John, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and about Rapid Resolution Therapy.
Um, it's great to be here with you, Charles. I'm excited to do this. What I'm interested in is causing it to be that people's minds are working for them in ways that are satisfying, productive, pleasing, and pleasurable. I think that our minds are incredibly complicated, and yet it's kind of like we're running the beta version. So you know about the beta version, they say, hey, we can send you a thing and it'll do all these extra things. And you say, why wouldn't everybody want it? And the answer is because it don't work. At least it doesn't work very well. It keeps screwing up. And I think we're kind of like in the middle of an evolutionary process where our minds have become much more advanced than elephants and monkeys. They can't build airplanes or cities like London. And yet all kinds of dysfunctions happen. And I notice that our very advanced, complicated minds haven't come with any kind of workable, usable owner's manual. And I find that I run into people who are experiencing life as if they're on the magical mystery tour. And the kind of question is, I wonder what I'll do tomorrow. I wonder how I'll feel tonight. I wonder what I'll be up to. And and I think it's fun to maybe have that kind of a surprise tour, but it doesn't feel fun to live one's life where what one is going to be experiencing is a constant mystery filled with disappointing and painful surprises. So we look to get that clear so people's minds are working well for them.
So let's start with your journey, John. How did you get into this? How did you discover that method?
Well, goodness, that takes us way back before you were even a dream, Charles. And as I began my career, the first thing I got involved with for a number of years is I was what was called as a child protective service worker. That meant when there was an allegation of abuse or neglect around a child, it was my job to knock on the door, talk to people, and find some way to fix it. That was an incredibly challenging thing. It was a good way to start my career because, gosh, since then, I mean, everything else has been a vacation. And then I saw and experienced how people are traumatized early in life. I then worked with runaway, throwaway teenagers and saw the results of these traumas. And I started looking for what can I do that are going to cause people to live productive and joyful lives. And I started looking into what there was available in the mental health industry. And I really got deep into it, and I went through that kind of schooling and got into it. And you know what, Charles, it just didn't work. I found what I was learning to do took people who were in pain and put them in more pain with the idea that someday they'd be out of pain. And I was looking for, if somebody feels bad, I want them to feel better, not say, well, you got to feel worse in order to feel better. And I looked through that and didn't find it in a way that I could find was workable. So I began putting this thing together myself in a way that seemed to become more and more productive. And it's been going on for years, and it's still a work in progress. And I think I do better work yesterday than I did the day before that. But my intention is to be more effective tomorrow and then tomorrow, and cause it to be that people are not only out of pain, but begin to thrive.
Your first career experience being a child protective service worker, you must have had some tough experiences or have gone through some tough experiences. How did you not let that get to you and transform itself into trauma?
I didn't. It did get to me and it did transform itself into trauma. I mean, I got reports, okay, this child is in jeopardy, but tons of them. There's no way you could possibly take care of all of it. And so there I was thinking, okay, here are all these children and they can be, tortured here. And it's supposed to be my responsibility to stop it. And I don't have the resources to stop it. So, no, that was awful. And I felt scared and guilty. I was scared even knocking on the door saying, hey, good to meet you. You know why I'm here? Somebody said you're fooling around with your daughter sexually. Let's have a talk about that. It scared the hell out of me to do it.
Well, they might
That's
have
why
a
I say
gun,
it's,
they might like literally shoot you because it pisses them off. It's a trauma for them too, I guess.
oh my goodness, nobody was very glad to see me. Um, and so since then, so there, and then when I had people coming to me saying, hey, here's where my mind is stuck, I went back to the skills I learned in graduate school studying psychotherapy, and I thought I must have slept through those classes. So I started calling my friends and said, please, this is embarrassing, but I think I slept through it. What are you supposed to do for anxiety? What are you supposed to do for trauma? What are you supposed to do for sexual dysfunction? What do you do if somebody's afraid of public speaking? I forget what there must be a method for this, right? Did I sleep through it? And I was told, no, John, you didn't sleep through it. It wasn't ever presented. Um, by the way, most people don't realize this, but you can go all the way through and get a doctorate in psychology without ever seeing any of your teachers do what they're teaching you to do. If you can imagine trying to teach somebody to do something, but you can never show them how. Um, and most of the people in that industry have had that experience anyway. So I just kept playing with how can we make this thing work? I think what your folks might find interesting is I'm finding that when people are stuck and would like to cause things to work in a significantly better way, that it's highly unusual if that person is thinking about what it is that is wanted in a way that will cause it. People have never been taught how to think in a way that will cause their dreams to come true. Um, so if somebody says, oh, well, I want more wealth, or I want to meet people that I can be attracted to and form lovely relationships, or whatever the heck they want. Um, Often I find people are wanting that, desiring that from the world. So if that's the case, here I am trying to get the world to be different so that it will come my way. I want to manifest wealth. I want to manifest love. I want to have these people come to me. And I have friends who that seems to work for, but I offer something really different. I think for instance, if you're looking for more wealth, who are you looking for something from? I would figure yourself. So I'd start with yourself, meaning what is self? Your own mind, your own inner mind. How do you get your mind doing what you'd like it to do? You got to understand the way your mind understands things. Um, so for instance, um, I um, I want more I want more friends. I want more friends. I want to have a lover. Um, what am I supposed to do about that? And it generally starts with somebody saying, I don't want to be lonely and depressed. mind doesn't understand. When I say mind, I'm always talking unconscious, Charles. Mind doesn't understand negation. For instance, I'll give people this task. Try it out. If there's something you've been doing your entire life absolutely successfully, could you do it for 10 seconds more? Okay, I'm going to make you fail at it. Ready? So here's what we need you to do, Charles. You've done this successfully right up to this point. 10 more seconds and you win the prize. All you have to do is not think of a mermaid with a red tail. Whoops. Uh-oh. Well, your whole life success with that just went down the tube. Why? Because your unconscious mind doesn't understand what not means. So it did exactly what it heard me say, which is, hey, Charles, think of a mermaid with a red tail. I said, okay, here's one. Often people who are stuck are able to tell us right away what they don't want. I don't want anxiety. I don't want to be shy. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be poor. And mind isn't getting from that what it's supposed to do. So let's flip it to positive. I want wealth. I want love. I want success. I want happiness. Are we in better shape? Yeah, a little. But why is that a little? Because I want means to the unconscious, I lack. The child wants for love. The plant wants for water. I want money. I want success. I want to be good for people. Want, lack, 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 lack. So again, that doesn't work. So, okay. So I'm thinking of wealth. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, wealth. But then what am I supposed to do? So I think what the solution is to break down this thing that's intended into, okay, what are the steps? So I want to have a podcast and I want to have 10,000 listeners. And Charles, I don't know why I don't have it. Every morning I think of how I want it and how I need it and how bad I feel about that I don't have it. Why wouldn't that get it to me? You'd say, how the hell was it going to get it for you? I didn't get one by feeling bad I didn't have one. Well, what do you do? And you're going to not just say, think positively, be a good guy. You're going to say, well, you got to do this, 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 this. And if you're going to coach me well, you're going to give me something to do that I can freaking do. You become responsible then for my success. Another thing different about what we're doing with rapid resolution, by the way, I think we're getting rid of the last word. Because you know what? I'm trying to get as far away from that as possible. So look for the upcoming rapid resolution transformation rather than rapid resolution therapy. Somebody said, we got to get rid of that last word, but we kind of need the T. We got to keep the T. So I said, well, let's just cross this one off and put that one up, and that should work. But we're another big difference between us and what people in mental health are doing is if I work with you, I know it's my responsibility to cause you to be successful. And if I didn't, it's because I didn't have the skill. So we never blame the people that we weren't effective in assisting. I know if I didn't get somebody all the way better, it's because I didn't know how to. So I intend to know how to and do a better job with that. And yet that seems to be missing, my friend, from the rest of the people change businesses. I've yet to hear people in the mental health industry say, well, the reason my patient didn't get better is because I'm not skilled enough. I hear stuff like, well, he was resistant. He was not ready to change. He wasn't motivated. Well, then frickin' motivate him. What do you mean he wasn't motivated? Motivate him. And you know who else does the same crap? with crap, I mean irresponsible blaming people that we fail. I think that's also done by the freaking educational system, and it begins in kindergarten or first grade and continues through doctoral programs, where the people doing it are not saying, well, you know, gosh, a gal called me the other day and she said, I'm so upset. I said, what happened? Now, this gal, Charles, works in a donut store and she works an extra shift. I mean, I don't know where she finds time to sleep. And she has 3 children and she's struggling and running and doing everything she can. And she gets a call from the assistant principal of the school her son goes to. And he said, ma'am, this is very important and concerning. Your son fell asleep in history class yesterday. And she called me. She was crying. She says, I don't know what I'm supposed to do to keep my son awake in history class. I said, well, you call the principal tomorrow and say, my son didn't help me with the dishes last night. Fix it. Because that makes as much sense as the other does. Holy smokes. But rather than our schools causing people to be motivated and excited about learning, they bribe them with letter grades and teach them stuff that's irrelevant. And then if they're not doing well, they get rid of them. In the United States, you know, every day you read about some other guy who decided to go back to the school that educated him and start shooting people. But I never hear a school principal say, gosh, I guess we missed the boat on that one.
Yeah, people are pissed. I'm certainly one that the educational system was never a fit. You know, I was good at school, but always a class clown, always out of the class. And yeah, I guess like well, it's not just because they're pissed at the school, you know, they want to have a message out there to do as much damage to society as possible because they're not with the concept of society,
Yeah,
while they should probably retract in the woods and live by themselves and see like the benefits of society, if they would experiment with that. But yeah,
they're not going
fully,
to do that, right?
yeah,
I mean, they're not
they're
going to
not.
do that. And so I think right there at the beginning, the school has 2 purposes, one to educate, but 2 to socialize. And I mean, the basics of socialize is don't go around shooting people. Um, but in the United States, all you got to do to buy a gun is be 18 years old and angry. I will outfit you with an assault rifle. Uh, but anyway, that's just a bitch I have. I would like to make a difference there so that things are better right from there. But what I'm learning is we can make a huge difference in people's lives very quickly without making people feel miserable as if it's on the path to feeling better. Uh, uh, people don't, Intelligent people deal with the fact that they're stuck by trying to figure out what happened in life earlier that caused them to be stuck, or what kind of person they are, or what's wrong with them. And I think that there are simpler and much more pleasant solutions to move people forward. The other thing we're able to do is we know that often people are stuck now because of something that happened earlier. The solution for us is not to try to figure out what it was or re-feel the pain, but we have a way of causing the way the mind processes information to clear up and speed up and update so that folks are so that the mind and body is working in a way that's effective and rewarding. Um, and what we're offering is so very different from what's out there that to really even consider doing it, it's a good idea to take a look at it. And we have all different ways of doing that are done just to give people a chance to get in the wading pool, to see if they like it, to get a feel of this thing, to see things shift and transform quickly.
Right. So let's say grape, for example. Grape is an event that happens quite quickly, involves testosterone and someone that, needs to empty their balls, and frustration and rejection, most likely. And all that energy is put into someone, makes that someone feel vulnerable, powerless. And yeah, it might batter the person. They might even kill that person if they're lucky enough to survive. The body registers that, the mind registers that, and repeats that event over and over again, makes the life of that person terrible and living hell. So how can you resolve that in like one session?
Um, if you think about slamming your hand into soft sand, you pull your hand off, but there's a handprint. It's kind of like the sand hasn't gotten the good news that your hand isn't there. The sand hasn't gotten the good news that nothing is slamming it. I mean, so when something has happened that is disturbing, I see it as like something has slammed into that person's consciousness, left an impression, and the thing that continues to be troubling is that the mind is continuing to process this horrible thing as if it's about to happen, in the middle of happening, and just happened at the same time, even 10 years after it hasn't, after it happened. So that's a data processing issue in my world. It's not a moral issue. It's not a forgive yourself, love yourself issue. It's a freaking data processing issue. I mean, imagine that this guy is calling for help with his computer, and he misdials and gets a psychotherapy hotline. And he says, I'm trying to run this program and it just gets stuck. And he's told, well, I think you need to start by forgiving it. So, you want me to forgive the program? Well, have you done that yet? No, I guess I forgot to forgive it. Okay, forgive it first. Call me back after that's done. I think you should write letters to the program telling it you forgive it, put it in a little basket, tie it to a balloon, it'll go up in the sky. That'll be good. And then call me again. Well, okay, dude, it took me a long time, but I found the frickin' balloon, wrote the letters to the computer, sent it up into the sky, and I need to get this program working. What do I do? Love yourself. I gotta what? Love on yourself, man. I gotta love my own self. I'm trying to get my word processor to work. Well, who did you call? Oh, no, this is a therapy hotline, not a. The cool thing about when I call, because my frickin' phone doesn't work, and I don't know how to fix it, but you know what? The guy on the other end does. And he says, John, do this, do this, do this, do this. I don't even know what I'm doing, but at the end of it, you know what? The phone works. And that's what I think we need to offer people to get their minds to work, where, hey, it's my responsibility to resolve this issue for you. Charles, thank you for calling. I know how frustrating it can be when your phone makes screaming noises in the middle of the night, and we're going to get this resolved for you. First, what I want you to do is do this. Then do this, then do this, then do this. Now check it. Oh, stop screaming. Good. Have a nice day. We can do that for people who have been raped. We can do that for people who have been brokenhearted. We can do that for those who are suffering, and we can do that for those who are doing really well but want to do better. So we have people coming to us who are pro athletes at the top of the field, and they say, but I want to be a little better. I said to this guy, what? I mean, you get paid. You get paid to play a freaking game. You get paid a huge amount to hit a ball. Well, what do you mean? I said, I know who you were when you walk in. I don't care about golf, but you're like the fifth or sixth best player in the world. I know who you are. What do you want? He said, to play better golf. Play better. Why? He said, because if I can go from number 5 to number 4, wow, that's huge. That's huge. Get me just that much better. And we do it and do it consistently. So there is an owner's manual. Your mind can work in the way you would like it to. You don't have to be a slave to your habits, your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts. You can cause it to work in a rewarding and positive way. People experience breakthroughs that they are just shocked by. I do a free group every like 6 times a week for about 3 hours where anybody can jump in. It's called Solutions. Last night, this gal called. She had this tinnitus thing where her ears are growling and screaming and ringing and stuff like that. And we spent about 12 minutes with her, I think. And she put this amazing testimonial up on her stuff. Just the next day, the ringing stopped. People experience rages for things they don't want to continue to feel enraged. We get that to stop. So I feel like the luckiest guy in the world because I get to do stuff that's so much fun and makes such a difference for people. And I get to teach other people how to do that. And I get to meet cool guys like you and have interesting conversations. So I wake up every morning just not practicing my gratefulness. That sounds like a chore. I just wake up with like, what the heck? This is actually happening. Damn, how cool is this? And that's what I want for each of the people that we're reaching.
Love it, John. Thanks for today. Where can people find out more about you?
The website is rapidresolutiontherapy.com. There's a book called Life-Changing Conversations, another book called Grief is Not Sacred. They're available on Amazon. We have a solutions group 6 times a month, absolutely free. And many people just do that. They don't even think about anything else. They do that, but their lives are changing and getting better. And we also, of course, offer courses in how to do this stuff for others. It's rapidresolutiontherapy.com.